Are you feeling fatigued, low energy, like you just don't want to get out of bed anymore, or maybe you've lost that zest? It could be related to toxin buildup in the body, and your liver just might not be able to keep up. I'm Troy Rice, naturopath and integrative medicine practitioner, and I'm here to do a deep dive into how toxins build up in the fat tissues in the body, how we can support our liver and our detox pathways, and why you might care because it's surrounding everywhere that you are, in the food that you eat and the environments that you live in. So let's dive deep into this and figure out what you can do to remove some of these toxins, at least on a quarterly basis, to help support your liver and get back the energy that you deserve. Okay, so here we go. All right, so as I mentioned, there are over 100,000 man-made chemicals in our environments today. Isn't that crazy? And where do they show up? They show up in pesticides, herbicides, artificial ingredients at the store, right? Cosmetics, and we're going to show a deep dive into cosmetics on why you would care about what cosmetics you're using, and if you're a female, you're using a wide range of cosmetics for some, and then for males, it could be even as low as your deodorant has massive amounts of toxins in it and what you want to consider as well, okay? So what does that lead to though? It's proven to lead to hormone problems, cancer, and cancer rates have been on the rise, allergic reactions, and autoimmune issues, which means that your body is basically fighting against itself, right? Because there's so many things or chemicals in the body that it doesn't know what to attack, or you have things like estrogen mimicking chemicals in the body that act like estrogen, and therefore your body is trying to use it, but it really can't, okay? So unfortunately, these things are all out of control, but there are some great steps on things that we can do about it. But let's talk about this a little bit more in depth, okay? So let me go ahead and pull up. All right, so are you aware of all of this? I mean, check this out, okay? So phthalates, triclosan, BHA, formaldehyde, and parabens are in several different products that we use on a daily basis, okay? And so what they've been studied to impact, so I just want to go through the grid here slowly, but you can see that phthalates can cause hormone disruption. It's been linked, correlated to cancer growth in the body. Some of it's been even banned in particular countries across the world. So if no products can have phthalates in it. Triclosan, very same thing. I'll also call out there's been found correlation to allergies in children, okay? Or antibacterial resistance even. And then BHA, cancer growth, formaldehyde, cancer, and irritants, especially like at the skin and the nose, eyes, things like that. Parabens, which you probably are familiar with. There's a lot of things out there, whether it's like hand soaps, lotions, and shampoos that talk about no parabens in this and things like that. And so you can see that it's been banned. And then check this out, okay? They did a study and to find out how many particular chemicals could be found in a particular cosmetic that most often women use. And so I just want to go through this short list here. So shampoo, 15 on average chemicals found in shampoos, okay? Eyeshadow, 26, lipstick, 33, nail varnish, 31, fake tan, 22, and then look over on the right side. I'm going to skim down just to the perfume, 250. So if you're somebody that uses perfume, it's something to consider about what source of perfume you're using and how you understand what chemicals are in that, because they could lead to several problems for you, not only cancer growth, but potentially hormone disruptants, or even what's talked there is sperm damage, right? And so I just want to open your eyes a little bit if you're not familiar to this about why you might care. So what other things are to consider here? And so the picture on the right is what we call a rain barrel, okay? And so the significance around that is Dr. Stephen Cabral wrote a book called The Rain Barrel Effect, which is as we accumulate so many things in life, our rain barrel begins to overflow, and that's when we start to experience dis-ease of the body, like autoimmune issues, okay? And so what does that look like? Well, we are in environments that have pollution. We might consume foods that have genetically modified ingredients. We get, particular gut bugs, which we can handle if we have a strong immune system and a strong gut. Poor sleep. We're not sleeping right? We're not getting the 7 to 9 hours of sleep, the 2 hours of REM, and the 1.5 hour of deep that we need. Life stressors, relationship stress, poor mindset or negative thinking and thoughts, hormone disruption. Maybe you have a little bit of genetic variance that play here where it's good to be mindful of lifestyle factors to help the expression of those genes. Medications, cosmetics, we talked about that. EMS, electronic magnetic frequencies. That's in everything that surrounds us, right? And if you've ever used an EMF reader and walk around your house, you can see, not only the EMFs that are in your cell phones and your tablets and your computers, but what about in your smart home reader devices, right? Your TVs, maybe even your microwaves and things like that, all right? Fried food, excessive sugar intake, excessive caffeine intake, heavy metals, and then pesticides that are just sprayed on a lot of the foods that we eat, okay? So also leaky gut syndrome. And so I oftentimes have clients that come and they say, I've tried everything. I take all these supplements and nothing's working. And I offer this as a consideration for them, which is, it doesn't matter how much nutrients or supplements that you're taking, if you have an underlying problem like a leaky gut, which could be caused from toxins, undigested food particles, leaky gut from gluten and other things that cause inflammatory compounds, they can go in there, and what they do is they open up these tight junctions right next to the epithelial wall and the gut lining of your gut, and they slowly leak into your bloodstream. And so you can kind of see a picture here about how this happens, because in theory, if your gut is strong and your gut wall is strong, none of this gets in. So basically, the only thing that should get into your bloodstream should be vitamins and minerals that then your body can use, disperse, and use to all the different functions of the body, okay? But when we have a leaky gut, all of those things start to leak into the bloodstream, and you can start to see all these different problems start to surface up, right? It can breach the blood-brain barrier depending on the type of compound it is. You can end up with food intolerances, like all of a sudden you're eating things like eggs, and maybe you've always had a sensitivity to eggs, but if you haven't, but all of a sudden you start to, that could be related to that, right? Because your body's not able to keep up and use the right amount of enzymes to break that down. Autoimmunity issues, could be, thyroid health. It could be Raynaud syndrome, maybe even lupus or Epstein-Barr virus. They start to surface up, okay? Malabsorption, again, the ability for you to absorb the nutrients in the body, in the food or the supplements that you take matters with having a strong gut, okay? And then I've listed several other lists below, including, metabolic syndrome, neurological disorders, and then autoimmune issues that we talked about a little bit. So a little bit about how toxins do matter if you have too much of them in the body and your liver can't keep up. And we're going to talk about what that means. So are you aware of this crazy study? And I've listed a video there and the study so that you can do your own research on this. But how early we're affected from toxins. So 10 Americans study. An average of 212 industrial chemicals were found when studying only 400 toxins. So not even all the different man-made chemicals we talked about, just 400 in 10 unborn babies. And they found several different toxins. They weren't even born yet. So that means that before they even came into this world, they had a buildup of toxins in the body, in the bloodstream, okay? And then here are some alarming statistics as well as the links to studies as well. So over 72,000 toxins since World War II. Only 2% tested for toxicity, immunogenic, carcinogenic, and birth defects. Average home contains at least 62 toxic chemicals, and there are ways to test this. So if you're curious to see not only if it's inside your body, but you can test your environment too. There are actually tests out there that you can go around your home and see if you have some toxic buildup as well. Air quality, things like that, water quality. And that 81% of people are at risk of suffering from a respiratory or dermatology condition because of poor air quality. So think about how much time we spend at home, right? And the average person is spent, especially if you're working at home, you're spending a majority of your time inside. You're not outside where there's fresh air mixed with any particular, bad air toxins and things like that. You're inside and you're breathing it in all day long. So it does matter what the air quality is inside your home or inside where you work. So what are some common signs of toxin buildup from a symptomatic perspective that you could see in yourself? Well, food cravings, sugar cravings, excessive caffeine intake, meaning you just feel completely drained and fatigued, so you feel like you need an uplift, right? You wake up and the first thing you have to do is drink a bunch of coffee or tea or whatever it is for you to get going, okay? Inflammation and joint pain. If it just came out of the blue, and I don't believe anything really does, it kind of just, it slowly starts to meticulate in the body. If you're starting to experience, random spots of inflammation and joint pain, it could be related to toxin buildup, okay? Completely fatigued, chronic headaches, water retention, because the toxins will build up and then it will sit there because it'll sit inside the fat tissues, okay? And then stubborn body fat, meaning your body's not able to get rid of it because you're so focused on everything else that is trying to clean out of the body, okay? Bad breath and odor, and then lack of progress on anything. And that goes back to the comment I made earlier about, some people just feel stuck, like they've tried a bunch of different things and nothing's working. Well, it could mean that they just need a reset. They need to clear some toxins out of the body, okay? So what could you do? We take clients through what's called a functional medicine detox, which is a 7-day, 14-day, or 21-day, and I'll explain a little bit more about this. And then a community that you can learn more about how to do it, how to be supported through it, and why it matters. But what it does is it cleanses the blood, it recovers muscle elasticity and pain relief, removes toxins from liver and the kidneys, refuels you with healthy nutrients because you're putting vitamins and minerals back into your body through this detox. You're putting nutrients to help support your liver, and we're going to talk about what those nutrients look like. And then you're also breaking down the toxins in the biofilm and the fat tissues so that you can release that through your toxic pathways, okay? Optimal digestion function because you're clearing everything out. Eliminates impurities in the lymph and the intestines. Our lymph system is so fascinating. If you've never seen a grid about how many, how your lymph nodes surround your entire body, circulate all the way around and all the way to or up and around your heart, it's such an incredible process. And so doing like lymph gland draining on a daily basis, things like bounding, things like dry brushing can really help move those toxins throughout your system and clear them out of the body, okay? And then, of course, reduction of fat because there's nowhere for it to be stored. Most toxins in the body are stored in fat tissue, okay? So if you have an excess amount of fat built up, you have more places for toxins to hide and stay. So what does the process look like? So I'm going to talk about what the detox looks like, but I also want to call out the process for your liver because, most of us would say, well, your liver does the detoxing for you. And that is absolutely true. But what happens if you're overloaded, right? Like you have so much built up in the body. You also are maybe not sleeping right. You're not getting the right nutrition. Maybe you're not exercising. You're in pain. It slowly starts to build up and your liver can no longer keep up, okay? And so I want to talk about what the liver does do and how something like a functional medicine detox can help you support your liver through this journey, okay? And so here's the beginning phase. So phase 1, cytochrome P450 enzymes. You can see how toxin moves through the process and then out all of the different, excretory measures like your bile, your feces, your serum, your kidneys, and your urine. But it starts off as a lipid soluble, so fat soluble, okay? And that means that at this point, it's stored in the adipose tissue and it's very difficult to actually get out of the body. So what does your liver do? It goes through this process and uses nutrients like vitamin B2, niacin, folic acid, which is converted from folate, glutathione, and branched-chain amino acids and flavonoids. And then that turns it into intermediate metabolites, which are broken down fat-soluble tissues, okay? So you're slowly starting to get into a process where it's going to become water-soluble, where you can get rid of it in the body. This is also where you do a cleanup phase for reactive oxygen species. Your mitochondria has a play in here as well and how that clears. And so you're not only supporting your toxin removal, but you're also supporting your uptick in free radicals and how you can get those out of the body. And then it goes through phase 2 and uses similar nutrients, a little bit different. A lot of them are actually amino acid based, right? So you have glycine, taurine, glutamine, N-acetylcysteine, methionine, and it's going to take those and then it's going to completely break it down into water soluble and then allow you to get rid of it through the bile, feces, serum, kidneys, and urine, okay? And this is also why things like exercise and infrared saunas can be amazing for helping you expedite your removal of toxins in the body, because as your liver is doing its job, you can help it by moving that stuff out of your body a lot more faster through those pathways by inducing, the sweating capabilities of exercise and infrared sauna, okay? So through this detox process that we do, at days 1 and 2, we call autophagy days. There's no food. You do shakes with minerals and vitamins, which then lowers your blood sugar and increases white blood cell count, but really cleans out the body, right? Because autophagy is, autophagy or self-eating. Basically, you're self-eating dead cells and getting rid of cells in the body, maybe senolytic cells, and clearing them out in those days 1 and 2 and resetting everything in your body. Days 3 through 7 are supported through the same Ayurvedic and functional medicine supplements and shakes, but you also are allowed to do a Mediterranean-style diet that still supports your liver phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification and helps that move throughout the body, okay? And I know I'm talking in general terms here, and I have more resources to show what this detox looks like, but truly works with your liver to clear it out. So what does it look like? So a lot of times the questions is, well, what's in this? Why does it matter? What should I know about? What I should care about? And so here's what we recommend, and then here are the particular ingredients in it. And you can just see how awesome this is, right? So what we do is recommend 7 days for anybody that's feeling good, like they feel like it's somewhat good health, but they know they want to clear some toxins out of the body. We recommend 7 days, usually once a quarter. If you are not feeling good, 14 days. And if you're experiencing autoimmune issues, we recommend 21 days, okay? And then take a peek at the nutrients here on the right side, okay? So this is what's all inside one of the shakes that you take. For the first 2 days, you do 4 shakes a day while you're not eating the foods. And then you take 2 shakes morning and night. And this is the nutrient profile that you get, okay? So you're getting, dietary fiber, you're getting 15 grams of protein, but then you're getting a full panel of vitamin A, C, D, E, K, all of your B vitamins in good forms too. I mean, I'm going to be doing another training around supplement and mineral forms, because it does matter. Like if you pay attention, store-bought generic brands of vitamins have potentially forms in them of particular minerals that don't serve you at all. Like it actually might have like magnesium chloride or something in it that doesn't actually do anything for you. So you want to make sure that you get the right forms and the right forms that actually help synthesize in the body to what you're trying to improve, right? Because certain forms of magnesium, like a magnesium glycinate, would actually help with sleep health, right? And so the form actually matters. But as we keep going down here, you can see it has a full mineral panel. It's got magnesium, zinc, selenium, copper, magnesium, chromium, everything. And then it's got the antioxidant daily detox formula, including the things like glutathione to help support that phases of the liver. So let's do a little bit of a deep dive into why we have Ayurvedic Triphala blend and a functional medicine blend supplement that you take with this. So I mentioned the shakes, but we also have supplements that you take with it morning and night. And this is why, okay? So the Ayurvedic blend helps begin the detox process. It promotes the growth of beneficial gut microbes in the body. And then it's got several different extracts that have been proven for, several hundreds of years to help support the detox pathways and clearing things out the body. And then from a functional medicine perspective, it helps add in the amino acids. It helps build in the antioxidant profile to help, again, with the free radical movement throughout the body. It helps support your mitochondria. And then it's got botanical extracts to help basically capture those toxins and move them throughout the process as well. So what I often want to do too is keep in consideration of any particular gene variant that might be at play here, okay? And so a lot of times we get questions around the MTHFR gene and how that impacts methylation, okay? So what's most important to get out of any of this is how to support methylation is really utilizing B vitamins and sulfur-based amino acids. And so if you've ever got a gene test done and you came up with an MTHFR gene and you had a practitioner come up with a plan for you, you probably noticed that B vitamins were probably recommended, and hopefully in a B complex, right? Not just B12, but in a complex of, B1, B5, B6, B12, folate, and you want to go with the best form of that. But most importantly, your sulfur-based amino acids. Make sure you're getting enough glycine, taurine, glutamine, N-acetylcysteine, cysteine, methionine, and then including things like cruciferous vegetables, nuts and seeds, legumes, beef, organ meats, fish, eggs, poultry, and then when I put some dairy products, I mean good source dairy products. So make sure you know where they're coming from, right? What type of how are they raising the cattle that the dairy is coming from? So how do you know if you have toxin buildup? And there, of course, this presentation will be shared in this training so you can access this quiz, but I would encourage you to check this out, right? Because even if you are somebody that you believe, toxin removal would be a great process for you, and let's say you want to consider functional medicine detox, maybe you consider things like infrared sauna, maybe a coffee enema, right? Maybe dry brushing and things like that. Maybe a liver or gallbladder cleanse. Any of them are great. But what's also great is knowing if you have it, right? So you can take functional medicine test, and I'll share a link to that, or just take this simple quiz, right? And write down exactly where you might be feeling. And you can even take a screenshot of this and go through a quick quiz yourself to see where you're at, right? Check it off the list and see where you're at. And so the full quiz is going to be linked up here so you can access it, but these are some of the top ones here. So how about extra help? I'm going to provide some links here. You can do a detox without coaching. We have a support group. I'll leave the link to that, and it's free. You can join. It gives all the resources, recipes, and everything about the whole detox community. There's several of us that go through this on a quarterly basis. You can do it with coaching, and I provided a link to that. Precision at-home lab test, which literally you can order a lab, have it sent to your house, complete it on your own, mail it back in, and then have results read with you and a trusted practitioner like myself, and help you actually learn about your body. So I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes you go and you visit your primary care doctor or physician, and maybe or maybe not, they don't explain your lab results to you. Maybe they just talk about things that look off, or if everything looks good, they just say looks good. But maybe you want to know, like what does this mean? What does this biomarker mean? How do we get to this point? What are some natural remedies I can do? And so that's what we do when we go through lab test coaching and functional medicine labs. Detox protocols, I mentioned a few of them. There's the functional medicine detox, but you can do an intestinal cleanse. You can do a mold protocol. You can do a gut protocol. You can do a heavy metal protocol. And so they've all listed there if you're curious. Toxin removal techniques, we've mentioned a handful of them today. And then several podcasts that talk more in depth about toxins, research studies, toxins to look out for, and certain things like that. All right, so I hope that was helpful. I just wanted to do a deeper dive into toxin removal. If you're someone that is not used to actually going through a process and helping your body clear out toxins, I strongly encourage you to consider some type of approach to really help your liver out, especially if you're starting to feel some of those signs and symptoms. If you have any inclination that you might have leaky gut, or you just need a restart, like you need your mitochondrial to get a boost, you need your metabolism to get a boost, and you're ready to just reset and rebalance the body. So I'm going to include all the links below. Thank you for joining this training. Please comment below any questions, and I look forward to seeing you in the next training.